Welcome to the CX Broadcast, the podcast by Zonka Feedback, where we dive deep into the world of customer experience. Our lively banter and thought-provoking insights will keep you on the edge of your seat. So, strap on your headphones and let's get started.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the CX Broadcast. I'm Niharika, your host, and today we have a very special guest with us. Join me in welcoming Maggie Faust, the Chief Customer Officer at Loris AI. Hi Maggie, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks so much.
Lovely. So Maggie, I'm thrilled that you're here, and we are here to discuss the fascinating world of customer experience. So customer experience happens to be a very captivating topic, right? And I'm very excited to learn from you, from your expertise. So let's start by defining what an awesome customer experience is and how would you describe it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great question. I think, at the core of an awesome customer experience is all about going above and beyond for your customer. I think it's about creating those personalized, timely, relevant interactions with your customers to make them feel valued and satisfied. Your goal, I think, at the end of the day is to really proactively think about your customer's journey and how can you make that as seamless as possible. And maybe that's through some AI capabilities, or it's through helping your agents guide the customers on whatever they need in the moment. So I think there's a lot of different components that can really create an awesome experience. But I think those organizations that focus on them and really put effort towards it are the ones that are going to see that customer loyalty and advocacy and ultimately growth as a result.
Right. That's a wonderful description, Maggie. Thank you for it. Now,
Yeah.
let's delve into the role of AI creating an awesome customer experience. How do you see AI enhancing customer experience, customer interactions in now recent times and recent future?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, there's so many ways that you can embed AI capabilities sort of in your customer journey and experience. For a long time, it was all about the chatbots, right? About being able to take in what a customer is asking about and then automate responses back. But really now there's so many other use cases for the technology. I think one area as well that folks may or may not be aware of is the ability to actually take customer service data, conversations, et cetera, and parse out the contact drivers, the intents, the tags, sentiment, what the customers care about, what they're frustrated by, in a way that really helps identify opportunities for improvement around that customer journey. Whether that customer journey issues are maybe within your product or the website, or how your customers engaging with your brand, or if those challenges or issues are kind of within maybe the customer service team and how they're answering questions. Here at Loris, we actually look at this all the time around the sentiment piece. We're actually trying to figure out helping our clients determine where in that journey our customers getting stuck. And what we've found actually in our research is that sentiment, as an example, about 70% of customer sentiment is actually geared towards the company, not the agent. About 30% is geared towards the agent. And so teasing that out, you now have data sets that can help like explain and surface to your different stakeholders and the organization on how they can improve what they're doing to improve the customer experience. So that's just, again, kind of one space as well from the AI side of the house on on the value that AI can really provide. So you kind of have this concept of AI powered analytics that's really valuable. You also have a variety of ways. There's additional automation opportunities too. So we've talked about chatbot deflecting and automating responses, but within a customer service organization, you can also automate additional tasks for your agents. You can automate tasks for your QA team, your management team, et cetera. So you can help them operate at the highest levels of their capability. So as I said, there's a kind of a lot of different use cases that have been emerging in recent years, and certainly in the last kind of 6 months with the introduction of generative AI. So it's an exciting time to be in the space.
That's fascinating, Maggie. But what about human touch? How do we strike the right balance between AI automation and human interaction in total?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the reason a lot of these new use cases have come out is because the chatbot use case isn't the the North Star, right? I think as a lot of us are consumers, we've interacted with chatbots. We hate it, right? You hate not being able to actually connect with a human when you have a problem, particularly when that problem is escalated. So if I'm trying to get in touch with someone at my bank, or I'm trying to figure out how to get a refund or something related to my money, et cetera, those conversations, a chatbot's not going to suffice. I really want to connect with someone and have them
Mm-hmm.
assure me that they're going to take care of me. So here at Loris, at least, we think about this a lot because we don't want to just automate the world. We don't think that going the way of machines and robots is going to be what helps companies ultimately win and
Mm-hmm.
again build that advocacy and loyalty. So identifying really spots where you can tie in and bring the best of AI and humans together, excuse me, to really get to that next stage of performance is key. And so going back to some of the examples that I had mentioned, that thing about kind of automating the quality assurance function as an example.
Mm-hmm.
We've hired quality teams to ensure that, you're reviewing agent conversations and performance and helping the agents and coach the agents. But what those QA teams do a lot is a lot of manual work around collating the conversations, grading them, calibration, as well as thinking about doing manual analysis on CSAT scores, what's going well, what's not.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if instead of spending hours on what's really manual data aggregation, you could actually focus your time on partnering with the agent teams to improve their performance. So rather than spending 8 hours preparing for a QA session that is a 30-minute or an hour-long session, you maybe spend
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes on that
Mm-hmm.
preparation, and then you spend most of your time thinking about, okay, how do I actually help improve the performance of what I'm seeking? And so that's just one example, again, of how the beauty of both can come together to really boost the performance, of the team, the customer service team in that instance. So that's, again, I think it's all about how do you bring them together in an effective way to elevate the company
Mm-hmm.
and the service, not just automate, all the human aspect away.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to recognize the unique value of human interaction. I'm really impressed by the examples that you just mentioned, but can you think of any company? I think this will be very beneficial for our audience, for our listeners. Can you think of any real life examples or something that you have encountered in your personal life where there is blend of AI and, there's the blend of AI and human touch has worked really, really well for you and somebody in your network.
Yeah, definitely. I think about a few of our clients actually. When we first started at
Okay.
Loris, we were an agent guidance solution, so
Mm-hmm.
an agent co-pilot, so to speak, really trying to help agents communicate effectively with an American consumer audience. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I think about a telecommunications company that we're working with who've seen they have three BPOs, they're all offshore, and those
Mm-hmm.
offshore teams can struggle sometimes in dealing with issues about someone's mobile phone or internet, et cetera. And they were struggling from a CSAT perspective as well as an efficiency perspective. And we didn't come in and create a chatbot and deflect those questions. What we did is build a guidance solution for that company, for those agents, so they could better communicate with an American consumer audience. They could better empathize with them to recognize, hey, I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Let me work to help you fix it. And really help guide also on the solution as well. So we have different workflow guidance that we can pop in our product as well that can help, based on what a
Mm-hmm.
customer's contacting you about. Hey, my mobile phone isn't turning on, what have you. We can actually help guide on the agent on a step-by-step basis on how to troubleshoot. So at the end of the day, it's
Mm-hmm.
still the agent helping the customer, and that customer feels connected to and helping with, but there's AI behind it that's boosting the performance of that agent and really providing
Mm-hmm.
that co-pilot experience and feeling, where I've got a buddy, in Loris that's
Right.
helping facilitate. And we've seen success around that with our ecom clients, marketplace, telco, et cetera. So it's been a great, I think, example of how you can marry the two together to again drive a great experience and interaction, for the customer.
Absolutely. And I think it's great to learn that you're doing so much at Loris and it's really turning out really well. Um, Thank you so much for informing us about how things are shaping up at Loris. And, these examples really highlight the power of combining AI and human touch in creating awesome experience customer blend. But what challenges should organizations be aware of when implementing this blend? what are your personal observations about this amalgamation of AI and human touch coming together?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question, and really important to address. I think there's a couple
Mm-hmm.
elements to think about when you're going, kind of starting this journey. And the big one
Mm-hmm.
for me is around ensuring kind of a seamless transition between those
Mm-hmm.
AI and human touch points. So certainly
Mm-hmm.
there is a place for chatbots as an example. But ideally, the experience that you map out in your customer journey, the customer shouldn't feel like I'm speaking to a robot and then speaking to a human. It should
Mm-hmm.
really be a continuous conversation, sort of
Mm-hmm.
regardless whatever channel they're in. So this really, I think, requires investing in a robust omni-channel solution and strategy that really ensures kind of the smooth handoff between the AI and the humans within a certain channel, whether that's chat, email, et cetera, and as well as across channels as
Mm-hmm.
well. So that's kind of component one. I think component two is also whenever you're evaluating partners to work with, it's kind of important as well that those folks have a history of success. So
Mm-hmm.
I think some folks that kind of dive into whoever's offering the cheap, fast, solution at the time. But I think doing your due diligence around, one, is the solution this company's offering, does it really solve my problem? And then two, have these guys seen demonstrated success previously? As well as a consideration to think about. And then I think kind of finally is you want to make sure that you're addressing any kind of ethical considerations or concerns from a data privacy perspective. When you're
Mm-hmm.
talking with your different vendors and partners around this, I think transparency around how AI is used, how they handle the data, ensuring that the algorithms utilized are trained in a diverse and unbiased data sets is really vital
Mm-hmm.
to building trust. So those are just a few considerations I think I would suggest, to anyone planning on this, and some challenges that I know folks have experienced in the past.
Absolutely, Maggie. And I think ethical considerations, and a seamless experience are a key to success. Speaking of success, what metrics and indicators should businesses focus on to measure the success of their AI and human touch integration? How you do it at Loris, and what are the practices around it for you?
Yeah, no, great question. I think, when we think about, at least within the agent performance world, there are key metrics that
Mm-hmm.
everyone cares about. Their efficiency metrics and quality metrics. So, obviously, from a quality perspective, you're looking at your net promoter score, customer
Mm-hmm.
satisfaction, customer effort
Mm-hmm.
score, all really important, as well as what we're finding, at least in our research, as well as is the efficiency capabilities too. So response times, handle times, et cetera. Usually we
Mm-hmm.
find that when you are responsive to your customers and you are handling those contacts efficiently, they reward
Mm-hmm.
you with a higher
Right.
CSAT and all of
Yeah.
that. So they're actually quite connected. So those are
Mm-hmm.
some of the elements that we talk with our clients about a lot, and I think about it through the lens of what matters to the company that we're working with. So certainly there's metrics internally here at Loris that we move, consistently, but we always want to tailor what we're doing so that we generate the results that the business we're working with cares about. So I think that's an important, touch whenever you're thinking about partnering with an AI vendor. Are they listening to you? Are they hearing your business needs, and
Mm-hmm.
are they addressing that? I also think about, from an AI perspective, from a chatbot perspective, you're also looking at deflection rates too. Usually when
Mm-hmm.
folks buy a chatbot, they're looking to have that chatbot handle, a certain number of
Mm-hmm.
tickets a day, in a week, in a year, in an effort to deflect from their agent team. So any of those simple interactions, ideally that chatbot, can pick up and handle. So I think that's a key element, deflection rates as well as escalation rates for the chatbot.
Mm-hmm.
How often do the customer say, no, I want to talk to an agent? That's an important
Mm-hmm.
element and a success indicator, or certainly KPI for those chatbots. So those are some of the key elements I would say, but of course, always kind of querying your customers and asking them for feedback and what's working and what's not is again, I think, a key component that's going to help you optimize, your customer experience over time.
Absolutely. Thank you for enlightening us with that. I think these metrics provide a well-rounded view of how you or one should plan on shaping up their customer experience strategies. So completely aligned to it. So Maggie, at Loris, I believe you make use of NLP, AI, machine learning in a very solidified arrangement. But apart from that, what emerging trends do you think AI and NLP will, yeah, I'll start one more time.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. Okay. Hi. So yeah, Maggie, we've spoken about NLP, machine learning, and AI. So there's of course it's the hot topic of the tinsel town. But what do you think would be the emerging trends in AI and NLP that will shape the future of customer experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's just so many exciting possibilities in this kind of part of the world. We're seeing advancements around investment from a voice-based AI assistance capability, NLP understanding, sentiment analysis, customer
Mhm.
frustration detection, all kinds of different elements here. And I think these technologies can really enable a more natural and impactful interaction between the customer and the brands. Voice assistants in particular, I think are becoming more context aware
Mhm.
and capable of handling those complex requests or complex issues that are coming across. So when you think about IVRs today versus 10 years ago, you actually,
Mhm.
with some, you think you're actually speaking to a human,
Right.
which is really impressive and exciting.
Mhm.
The other thing I was thinking about as well is the analytics piece, the NLP powered
Mhm.
analytics, where you can pick up on the contact drivers, sentiment, again, customer frustration. So whenever a customer complains or they want to speak to a manager, they are going to report you to the Better Business Bureau. All these signals can actually be captured and structured into a report and analytics for you to review. And it helps,
Mhm.
again, surface, some of those gotcha issues that maybe you would have missed because that customer might not have filled out a CSAT
Mhm.
survey, as an example. And so, all of this really provides a huge opportunity around one, understanding where in your customer experience there are problems, and then providing solutions that can
Mhm.
really, as I said, boost that kind of engagement with your customers. So I think we're witnessing increased integration of AI across kind of all touch points, from those
Mhm.
those voice assistants to smart devices, et cetera. So the future is certainly full of promise.
Absolutely. The future is bright and the potential for customer experience is limitless. Before we wrap up, can you share some practical implementation advice for businesses looking to enhance their customer experience with AI and, of course, integration of human touch in it?
Yeah, definitely. I think, one of the key components, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, is around taking the time to define what you want your customer experience to be. How do you want your customers to enact and engage with your brand? And then
Mhm.
as you map that out, you start seeing opportunities for AI augmentation or automation that you may then want to bake in. But without
Mhm.
having that kind of end-to-end map, you're going to be sort of plugging holes or maybe buying the new shiny thing without seeing
Mhm.
it all come together in a comprehensive way. So that journey mapping is actually a roadmap, I think, for integrating, the best results possible out
Right.
there. I also think, we talked a little bit as well about partnering with vendors that have a proven track record. I think that's important too. And then
Mhm.
also investing in training with your support teams. I think
Right.
a lot of folks in the customer service and support world see AI as threatening their jobs, and it
Yeah.
shouldn't be that way. You should think of it as almost kind of a new coworker, right? So,
Mhm.
and again, as I think as management and leaders, you need to recognize there is that trepidation and concern
Mhm.
and angst with that team, acknowledge it, and to think about change management approaches to help them not feel threatened by the new technology
Right.
that's coming in, but thinking about how do we embed this in a sophisticated and smart way. And again, the goal ultimately being to elevate that agent team. It's not to replace, but it's to bring
Mhm.
together the best of both those worlds, again, to drive the best business outcomes possible and best engagement and experience for your customers. So I think, again, as I say, kind of having a change management program around this, talking openly with your team about what the plans are, and then again,
Mhm.
training the team on how these elements can come together in a positive way, are all kind of key components, I would say, of when you think about implementation of these kind of technologies.
Absolutely. And I think this is the key to creating meaningful connections with with customers, and then, of course, it'll leave a lasting impression. Um, Maggie, your practical advice is invaluable for businesses embarking on this journey. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and experience with us today. It has been a wonderful conversation, and I'm I myself am taking a lot in terms of learning, in terms of how things are shaping up in the customer experience world, and how the synergy between AI and human touch is creating the so-called awesome customer experience with that we just happen to talk about.
Mhm. Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I always love talking about this. It was definitely a pleasure to hash through this with you today. And I really
Mhm.
hope, this conversation inspires businesses to recognize the power of AI and the positive impact that it can really have when bringing it together with the team and the human team that's on the ground. I think it can really unlock a really lovely and delightful customer experience, and again, driving that advocacy and loyalty, which is what we're
Right.
all, striving for. So here's to creating remarkable experiences for our customers and driving that loyalty we're looking for, definitely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Maggie. It was a pleasure having this conversation with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.